7 years of pro baseball experience, 3 years of D1 baseball, even have World Baseball Classic experience, and we've helped over 200 players get noticed. And in this video, I'm unpacking it all. Every hard truth, all the harsh mistakes that families make in the college recruiting process, some lessons that I've learned throughout the years, and all the shortcuts that I've learned that actually work. And this is the real stuff. No filter, no politics, no fluff. If you have a serious high school baseball player in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, this is the video that you need to watch first. All right, so a lot of you guys know I've been loving golf, so this is the way that I'm able to kind of have my escape and also be able to talk to you guys, because let's be honest, this is probably like my safe haven nowadays, where I can just be, brutally honest. That's, again, probably what you guys are looking for, and I get to share some stories and fun stuff that I've learned throughout my 7 years of pro baseball. So probably the number one thing, just because I do work with high school baseball players only, usually 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, there's a lot of misunderstanding in the whole college recruiting process. And the number one thing probably is that we're not doing enough. We don't have a strategy. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to fix it, right? And there are recruiting strategies out there. Like, just for example, if you go to camps and showcases as many as like time and money will allow, like technically that is a good clunk for the first swing off the grass today. But technically, if you go to as many camps and showcases as time and money will allow, like, yes, that is a strategy, guys. And like, yes, you're putting some thought into what your son can be doing. Not necessarily is it the right thing, but you guys have already, in a sense, put some level of thought on what we want to be doing about it. Not bad. All right, so yes, like camps, showcases, all these evaluation events, yes, it is a strategy. Is it necessarily the right strategy? I'm not going to deny that I went to camps and showcases when I was in high school, because I definitely did. I didn't go to a lot, though, because my family just wasn't well off. We went to, I think, one perfect game, maybe one baseball factory. There's a thing called Prospect Wire that I think I did one of, but maybe a total of maybe two, I think two, maybe three throughout my entire high school baseball journey. And the thing that I really like showcases in particular about is it helps you understand where you stack up against the competition, because it is very hard and very difficult to understand where you stack up, especially with your metrics. And if you are going to a camp, if you are going to a showcase, the best advice that I can give to you, make sure you're going to the right one, that you're able to walk away with something. And by something, I mean realistically your metrics. If you're walking away from any type of evaluation event and you don't have your exit velocity, you don't have your 60 time, you don't have your arm velocity, why did you go to that evaluation event? In all seriousness, though, like, that is why you go to an evaluation event, so that way you have an understanding of where you stack up. If you never know how you stack up, this is going to be the important aspect, and the advice that I want to give you right now is you're never going to know how hard you have to push yourself to be better than everyone else. So a little bit of my journey. I don't love living in the yearbook, but this is, a video about giving you some no filter advice. Guys, my freshman year, I went to my first ever showcase, and this was the first time that I was able to really compare myself with, not only freshmen, but sophomores and juniors and seniors, and I ran a 9.5 second 60. If you guys don't know anything about what the 60 is, it's the 60-yard dash. It's basically how fast you can run from yard 0 to yard 60, right? Pretty straightforward. It's a straight line. Run as fast as you can. The number you want to be at for college recruiting purposes is around 7 seconds. That's when college coaches will refer to you as an athlete, and that's where you definitely want to be, if not below. Obviously, depending on positions, this is where you want to be at a certain stage. Whether if you're a center fielder or a middle infielder, you're probably going to want to be closer to like a 6'6", 6'7". If you're a corner guy or a catcher, you can be like a 7'2", 7'5". It doesn't really matter that much. But either way, when I was a freshman in high school, I found out I had the second slowest 60 time at the showcase that we went to, which was outside of Miami, and it did not make me feel good one bit, knowing that I was underdeveloped. So when I got back from that evaluation event, guess what I did? There was an absolute fire. There was an earthquake that was lit under me, because let let's just tell you how it is. Like, I was slow. I needed to get work done. And maybe I had this inflated head that I was better than everyone else. That showcase made me shrink my head and made me feel like I was this tall, right? Because I kind of felt that way because I wasn't good. People weren't looking at me. And that's where I said, all right, let's go. So I worked extremely hard, and of course, throughout my high school baseball journey, was able to get my 60 time down to like a 7.2, 7.3, which was good enough because I was considered as a two-way player. I pitched also in high school. So again, these showcases are important because this is our time for us to understand our metrics and where we're currently at among the competition. As far as going to like these college camps and stuff like that, that's another question that a lot of parents will ask me. Which camps are good? Which ones are money grabs? Things like that. Again, if we're able to walk away with any type of metric, any type of understanding, that's going to be beneficial. So if you're able to communicate with these college coaches and see like, hey, what's going to be our walkaways, basically. That's not necessarily a term, so don't use that to these college coaches. They're going to look at you like you have 15 eyes. The thing is, like, we want to just see like, hey, what are we going to be able to get out of this? Are we going to be collecting metrics at the very end? You do have to be careful because there are certain evaluation events that will tell you one thing and kind of go behind your back and just not deliver on those false promises. And don't even get me started on false promises because that's what these recruiting services will do. And I don't love naming names, but there are a couple of recruiting services out there that have 4 letters. You could probably understand which ones I'm talking about. That was a pretty good shot. Yeah, these recruiting services, they're huge databases at the end of the day, and they don't really instruct you on exactly what to be doing when communicating with these college coaches other than, hey, here's this huge database that you can have access to. And guys, that's not how you get recruited nowadays. There's so many different ways to get recruited. And, by all means, like, yes, you might be able to get some profile views on these platforms, but that's where, like, baseball and baseball coaches, we are a little bit outdated. And I will say, another great shot. I'm dialed in right now in practice. But these recruiting services, like, they're just, the way that I like to explain them, guys, is it's Facebook trying to connect college coaches with high school athletes. And in theory, it kind of makes sense, right? Okay, yeah, we're going to get a friend request, or, Alabama's head coach viewed my profile. What does that mean? What does that actually mean? It doesn't mean anything, guys. And without the direct communication back and forth from Alabama's head coach or an assistant coach or recruiting coordinator, more than likely, we don't know how to gauge if Alabama is even interested in us in the slightest, right? So these services, unfortunately, I speak to a lot of families and most importantly, parents that feel like they got taken advantage of, and they were told one thing and delivered on another. And yeah, it is unfortunate to hear those stories, again, from like these halfway decent recruiting services, but it is part of just like the brutal, honest truths that I want to share with you guys here today in this video, because if I could just save like one family from going through the headache of going through that type of software or whatever it is to get better at baseball, like, guys, if we're not actually focusing on the right things, which is realistically the physical development, what are we doing, guys? Come on. Like, physical development is going to be the most important thing. It doesn't matter who you are. If your name's Shohei Ohtani, guess what? Physical development and being a good baseball player at the end of the day and producing will always be priority number 1. Sending out emails is never going to be priority number 1. And that's where, like, for those that don't know, I have my triple play where we focus on the physical, the mental, and the recruiting parts of the game, because like the player development is kind of coupled up into a couple of categories: the skill development, the physical development, meaning like getting bigger and stronger in the gym, speed development technically, I think I'm missing one, the mental development. So there's a couple of areas on player development that we have to take into account. And if we're not taking those things into account and we're just sending out emails, guys, like, just try picturing this. You call up one of these recruiting services that claim that they can get you placed. They guarantee it, right? But your son, and if you know a little bit about baseball, you'll understand this. If your son is a senior, he's 5'5", he's 110 pounds. Just from that alone, is he ready to play college baseball? Probably not, right? But furthermore, he runs a 10-second 60. He throws the ball 45 miles an hour, and his exit velocity is 10 miles an hour. Is that player even remotely close to getting recruited? I'll let you guys answer that. But what these recruiting services will say is absolutely we can help. Guys, I'd personally run in the complete opposite direction. If you ever hear that from anybody, that's just what I would do. You don't have to do it. So because we are talking a lot about college baseball recruiting, I do want to give you guys a little bit of a glimpse of what professional baseball was like for me, because I'm out of the game for the past like 2 or 3 years. My last year was in El Paso with AAA with the Padres in 2023. I want to give you guys some of the glimpses of what to expect in professional baseball, because it is quite interesting how minor league baseball works, how big league spring training works, how the whole business works, right? Because it is a business. And unfortunately, that's the part that I didn't love, is baseball is a business, unfortunately. There is politics involved. I hear a lot of high school baseball players talk about how politics and things like that. The way that we fight as a player, the conversation about politics and oh, he's just because he's the manager because he knows the scouting director, and the scouting director is good friends with the president of the team. Guys, things like that happen in professional baseball, whether you want to believe it or not, right? Oh, he's on the 40 man just because his agent is really close with the GM. Those things happen. So how do we overcome those things? By being good, by being the best, by being undeniably the best in your respective position or category of players, right? Category of players meaning like the guy that just got drafted. He's 18 years old. He's out of high school. You're not really comparing yourself to him, because you want to be comparing yourself basically to the players that have a similar amount of plate appearances, play your similar position, have the similar body type, have the versatility to be able to play other positions. So these are the types of things that are constantly going through your mind, especially when you're at AAA. At the AAA level, you are one level away from chasing your dreams and goals, and for those dreams and goals to become a reality, right? So yes, there were times where I felt like there was a little bit of a political something that happened, right? This is where I always had to self-reflect and look at myself in the mirror and say, how can we get this done? Because more than likely, if I'm just the best player in the world, if I'm hitting 600 in AAA over 500 at-bats, you better believe that that player, it doesn't matter who you are, is going to get an opportunity in the big leagues at some point. I thinned it. So yeah, I hear a lot of parents talk about, politics. I'm not going to deny it. I'm just saying we need to have a better mental approach on how we overcome that struggle. Other things that I think are, pretty fascinating in professional baseball, we play a lot of baseball games. And I say a lot of baseball games, I'd say probably around 160 throughout the year, including spring training games. So a lot of people don't take into account spring training games, but guess what? Our season really starts like February 15th. Every single day, it is a grind. We are lucky if we get 2 off days in the entire month for, I guess, a 6-month period of time. So we might have 12 total off days, which is completely different from, more than likely, your 9 to 5, right? If you're a parent listening to this and you have a simple 9 to 5 job, yeah, we work pretty consistently hard at baseball because it is a consistency game. Well, I wanted to make this as raw as possible, but my camera overheated, and as you can probably see, the camera is completely overexposed, so we're going to turn this thing around. But yeah, guys, what I was saying just before I was cut off by the overheating of the camera, guys, there's going to be a time where you have to realize baseball is not a normal job. And people like to say like, oh, well, at a certain stage, like baseball becomes a job, right? No, it never becomes a job. Like, yes, you have to have that passion, that love for the game, because yes, it's going to feel like a job at sometimes, but it's never a job. Because a job is 9 to 5 each and every day. You get 2 off days every single week. You get, 8 off days every single month. Guys, baseball is not a normal job. And if you try to put baseball into the category of a 9 to 5, I'm going to have a hard time with you, because it doesn't even remotely compare. Not in the very slightest, guys. I can promise you that. The workload is incredibly harder than a 9 to 5. I don't care if you're a CEO, if you're a C-level employee. I don't care if you have to do something for 8 hours a day and it's the most mundane, boring task. Guys, our performance is what dictates if we get paid, right? If we get to that next level. If you're in the minor leagues, you're not making a lot of money. I hate to break it to you, but there's so many of these things that a lot of normal people just don't understand. And I hate to say just normal people, but it is the truth. People don't understand when I say an off day, sometimes that one singular off day is waking up at 6 a.m., getting a flight to connect in Atlanta, and then Atlanta will go down to Jacksonville. We get into the hotel at maybe 2 o'clock, and that is our off day. Everything else beyond that is truly an off day. But like, people don't understand that that's not a true off day. That is, we have to wake up, we have to show up. It doesn't matter if we're sick, we're tired. We have to show up for not only ourselves and our career, because we want to obviously be able to excel and get promoted and reach the big leagues, but we also have to show up for our team. We don't want to be the guy that's holding up the bus. We don't want to be the guy that is, didn't hear his alarm in the morning. Guys, these are all the accountability side of things that you have to learn in professional baseball, or you have to learn in college. And this is where, like, a lot of people don't realize, you can get drafted. Well, you can get drafted out of high school. It's just going to be a lot more difficult because you're a teenager and you're expected to learn a lot of these things, as far as like making sure that you're waking up on time and things like that, right? Just simple stuff that professional baseball players, what we refer to as having either really good feel or having really bad feel, right? Having bad feel meaning you slept through your alarm, the whole team is waiting for you on the bus. And by the way, I said that one flight example because that's what happens in AAA. If you're in AA or below, guys, I hate to stress this out to you, but if you have dreams and aspirations of playing professional baseball, be ready for the 16-hour bus rides. Not super fun. Sometimes you have to buddy with someone, and sometimes there's only one bus. That's not super fun, right? But that's, again, sometimes what our off days look like. We'll leave at 8 o'clock in the morning and we'll get into the hotel at 8 o'clock at night, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter where we're going, but that's sometimes an off day. So are we able to hang out and play golf like I'm doing right now? No, there's not much time to breathe in the middle of the season. So that's where the stresses come along with it. Obviously, there's a lot that has to be done throughout the season as far as practice and games and preparation and making sure that you're having the right conversations with your right coaches so that way you can progress and perform when it ultimately matters. It is starting to rain, so I'm going to start covering up. This is why we love Florida so much. It did look like it was going to rain before, but I'm going to go ahead and cover up so that way I can keep talking to you guys and keeping it real. It might be also harder to hear. I do apologize for that, but a couple of other just like random facts about professional baseball. You get to meet a lot of cool people from all over the world. There have been teammates from Japan that I've met. There's been teammates from Korea, Australia, Germany, Canada, Mexico, all of Latin America, South America, the Dominican, all that fun stuff. Guys, it is the most fun you will ever have if you have that opportunity to play, professional baseball. Not many people do have that opportunity to play professional baseball. It's just the most humbling thing to be able to see people want your autograph, to be able to have people, waiting to see you after the game, to celebrate your wins. Sometimes there's fans that are drunk in the stands in a party city like Nashville that are celebrating your losses, and you have to keep your cool with all that. Guys, there's a lot of stuff like that a lot of professional athletes have to deal with, and I'm definitely not the only one. I just want to be able to use my voice and my channel here and my reach to be able to speak to you directly right now, that it's not always the most fun thing to do in the world, but it's never going to be a job, and it is the most rewarding thing that you can possibly do in your entire life if you just work every single day at something. Right now, I'm working at golf just about every single day because I really enjoy it, and it is a little bit of my escape. But guys, I can't stress this enough. Do the work consistently and the results will come. If you're not doing the work consistently, or you're not meshing your mentality on how you should be going about some of the work that you're doing, these are all things that can interfere with you receiving your roses, so to speak, right? You want to make sure that you're doing the work and ultimately seeing the progress. And if you're doing the work and not seeing the progress, we're probably needing some level of a shift on how we go about it. And now I'm going to close this up because it is absolutely downpouring right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to work one-on-one with me inside my Mendoza Baseball Academy, click the link down below in the description to book a call with either myself or a team member today.